shadow reflects the morning light on the wood. I move the small spoon to the edge of the tile. Cold surface meets my palm for a second. Everything stays in its place while I wait. The kitchen's quiet except for the birds outside. I watch a thin shadow stretch across the floor. Nothing needs to be rushed this early. The clock ticks once, then falls back to silence. My coffee is still too hot to carry away. I leave the silver handle resting right there. The breakfast plate sits empty near the sink. A single drop of water stays on the chrome. It feels like a good time to just breathe. The day begins with this small shining point. I trace the curve of the bow with my eyes. The ceramic feels solid and heavy and still. Steam rises up in a very straight line. It vanishes before it can reach the ceiling. I adjust my chair just to hear the wood creak. The window frame holds a square piece of sky. No one is walking on the pavement outside. The steam starts to thin as the liquid cools down. I pick up the spoon and feel the weight of it. The reflection of my face is small and bright. I stir the dark surface and watch the swirl. The sound of the metal is soft and hollow. Everything I need is within my reach now. The morning holds its breath for a little longer. I take the first sip and stay in the chair. The silver spoon rests back on the clean white cloth. I look at the light and decide to stay still. The day can wait until I finish this cup. Sit on the top step and pull the cotton strings tight. The hallway mirror shows the shadow of the door frame. One loop goes over the other while the house stays still. I realize the left side feels a bit looser than the right. So I undo the knot and start the whole thing over. My fingers know the rhythm of this simple morning task. The canvas fabric is cool against the back of my hand. Outside, a car rolls slowly down the paved neighborhood hill. I double check the tension before I stand up straight. The hallway floorboards don't make a single sound today. I grab my light jacket hanging by the silver bowl. My keys jingle once inside the deep side pocket. The air feels ready for whatever path I choose now. I take the first step and let the heavy door swing shut. The latch clicks into place with a dry and solid snap. I stand on the porch and breathe in the scent of wet grass. The pavement is darker where the sprinkler just sprayed. I walk past the gate where the red paint is peeling. My shoes feel secure as they strike the flat concrete. The rhythm of my feet matches the beat of the street. I don't need a hurry, I'll look at the silver watch. The sky is a pale shade of blue behind the white clouds. A dog barks twice from a yard 3 houses away. I keep moving forward with a steady and light pace. I reach the corner where the tall oak tree stands. The leaves move a little in a very soft breeze. I look at the shadow my own body makes on the ground. Everything feels aligned and exactly where it should be. The morning is white and the light is getting stronger. I turn the next corner and follow the long straight path. The laces hold firm as I walk through the golden light. The day is beginning and I am ready to go. Rainbow specks drift through the slice of kitchen light. I lean my shoulder against the cool white wall. The hallway is quiet and the rug stays still. Tiny dots dance in a circle near the ceiling. I watch them rise and fall without any sound. The shadow of the fern moves an inch left. Everything's slow and clear in this open space. I don't need to touch or move a thing. Air moves around the wood of the floorboards. My eyes stay fixed on the smallest bright point. The afternoon waits while the motes keep turning. Sunlight hits the metal of the laundry knob. I take a breath and stay for 1 minute. The world outside feels far beyond the glass. The wallpaper pattern has a tiny gray mark. I never noticed that little spot before today. A spider web glitters in the very top corner. It catches the glow and turns into a wire. I shift my weight, but the dust doesn't scatter. They follow a path that I can't even see. The silence is thick like a heavy wool blanket. I hear the refrigerator hum from the far end. The particles spin like stars in a small galaxy. I stay in the doorway and let time just pass. The beam of the sun starts to move on the rug. The gold turns to silver as the clouds go by. I pull my sweater closer to my chest now. The hallway is long and the shadows are soft. I close my eyes and feel the warmth on my skin. When I look again, the light has shifted away. The dust is still there, but I can't see it now. I walk down the hall and the moment is gone. The blue ink flows slowly across the white page. I write a short list of the things I should do. The tip of the pen makes a very soft scratch. I leave a small space between every line. The ink is still wet and it shines in the light. I wait for a moment for the paper to dry. The desk is uncluttered and the room is quite warm. I rest my left hand on the edge of the wood. I think of a word, but I don't write it down. The cap of the pen sits right next to the lamp. The window is open, just a tiny thin crack. I hear a bird calling from the garden next door. My handwriting looks a bit different today. The letters are round and they lean to the right. The ink is a shade like the deep evening sea. I draw a small circle at the end of the thought. I set the pen down in the groove of the tray. The metal is cold where my fingers just held. The paper is heavy and textured and thick. I look at the list and I feel very calm. One simple task is enough for the start. The light on the wall moves a little bit higher. The cap clicks back on with a very clean sound. The pen is now back in its place in the drawer. I look in my palm where a blue smudge remains. It's a tiny reminder of the words I just made. The morning is quiet and the coffee is done. I stand from the chair and I walk to the door. The blue ink stays there on the desk in the dark. The page is now ready for the rest of the day. I hold the heavy edge of the white cotton sheet. You take the other side and walk to the wall. The fabric moves slowly in a white, soft wave. We match the two corners and keep them quite flat. The scent of the soap is still fresh on the cloth. I feel the cool texture against my bare palms. The bedroom is bright with the late morning sun. We don't need to speak while we move in this way. The light catches dust in the space between us. Your hands are steady and your grip is so light. We fold it in half and then fold it once more. The cotton gets thicker and smaller and square. A warm breeze comes in through the half-open glass. The shadow of the tree moves across the floorboards. The sheet is now neat and it rests in my arms. I put it away on the tall wooden shelf. The linen feels smooth and it smells like the air. We reach for the pillowcase lying on the bed. The buttons are silver and they shine in the light. The rhythm of working is quiet and calm. No rush to be anywhere else but right here. The house is so peaceful and empty and white. I smooth out the wrinkles with one gentle hand. The morning is simple and perfectly clear. We stand for a moment and look at the room. The laundry is finished and stacked in a pile. The white of the cotton is bright like a cloud. I turn to the window and breathe in the day. The day is ahead and the work is all done. We walk to the kitchen to find a clean glass. The sheet stays behind in the cool dark of wood. Everything feels soft and exactly in place. The neighbor's roof is tilted toward the morning sun. The dark gray shingles hold a thin line of dew. A small brown bird hops along the very top edge. It stops to look around and then it flies away. The chimney is cold and no smoke rises up today. The shadows of the trees are long across the tiles. I sit by my window with a cup in my hands. The world is so still in this patch of early light. A silver antenna leans against the pale blue sky. I wonder who is waking in the rooms down below. The curtains are closed and the driveway is empty. The wind doesn't move even one single leaf now. I count the red bricks on the side of the garage. The color is faded from the rain and the years. It feels like a painting that is waiting to dry. I stay in the silence and I don't look away. The sunlight gets brighter on the edge of the glass. A cat walks slowly along the wooden fence line. It pauses to sniff at a vine of green ivy. The morning moves forward, but the clock feels slow. I see a small crack in the corner of the stone. It's been there for a while, but I see it just now. The details are clear and the mind is at rest. Everything is simple when the house is this quiet. The light starts to shift to the garden in the back. The roof is now dry and the dew has all gone. I take a slow breath and I put the cup down. The neighbor's house waits for the start of the day. I turn from the window to the tasks on my desk. The image of the roof stays behind in my head. The peace of the morning is a gift for the soul. The blue of the sky is the only thing left.
I press the silver lever down to the bottom. The orange wires start to glow behind the metal. I stand in the kitchen and wait for the heat. The bread sits inside and turns slowly to brown. The air smells like grain and a warm, dry fire. My hands rest on the edge of the cool counter. The clock on the wall makes a very small tick. I watch a single crumb on the white ceramic plate. The lever snaps up with a sharp metallic click. 2 slices of bread jump from the dark slot. Steam rises quickly and vanishes in the bright light. I take them out with the tips of my fingers. The surface is rough and it feels very crisp. I set them down right in the middle of the tray. The butter is soft and it sits in a yellow tub. The knife makes a sound as it scrapes the crust. The window is clear and the street is quite still. I spread the cold jam in a very thin layer. The fruit is a deep shade of red like a rose. The smell of the coffee is starting to drift in. I fold a blue napkin and place it on the side. One corner is slightly frayed from the wash today. The chair makes a sound on the dark wood floorboards. I sit steam on the glass. The first bite is crunchy and warm in my mouth. I chew very slowly and listen to the quiet house. The morning is moving at its own steady pace. The toaster is silent and cooling on the shelf. I finish the meal and I wipe away the crumbs. The plate is now empty except for the patterns. I stand up and carry the tray to the deep sink. The water is running and the day has truly begun.
Green leaves hang low over the clay pot edge. I fill the metal pitcher at the deep sink. The water is cool and it makes a thin stream. I carry it slowly through the quiet living room. The soil is dark and it feels very dry now. I pour a small circle around the brown stem. The liquid sinks down through the tiny black grains. One drop stays behind on a bright pointed leaf. The fern moves a little as the weight settles in. I touch the soft frond with the tip of my thumb. The texture is fuzzy and it feels like a rug. The sunlight is hitting the side of the ceramic. I rotate the base to face the big window pane. The glass is still cold from the night in the dark. A shadow of branches moves across the white wall. I stand for a second and watch the plant breathe. The pitcher is empty and I set it on the floor. The metal makes a hollow and very light sound. I see a new curl starting to grow at the center. It is a pale shade of lime and very tight shut. I pluck a small leaf that has turned into yellow. The stem snaps away without making a single noise. The air in the corner feels humid and very fresh. I breathe in the scent of the wet garden earth. The rug is still dry where the water just passed. I check the tray underneath for any small leaks. Everything is tidy and the pot stays quite still. The fern seems to spread its green fingers out wide. I walk to the kitchen to put the pitcher back. The morning is peaceful and the house is all mine. I look at the plant from the far end of the hall. It sits in the glow of the white morning light.
White envelopes lie on the dark wooden floor. The metal slug clicks as it shuts in the frame. I bend down to gather the small paper pile. The edges are crisp and they feel very cold. A bright yellow flyer is tucked in the middle. I see my own name printed in the stack in my hand. I slide a small thumb under the glued paper flap. The tearing sound echoes in the quiet front room. A utility bill shows a row of blue numbers. I set it aside near the lamp on the wood. The window light hits the white glossy surface. I look at the stamps from a city far away. One letter is thick with a heavy cream fold. I save that for last while the coffee gets warm. The table is clear except for the open mail. I throw the torn scraps in the small wire bin. The ink on the page has a very light scent. I read every line with a slow, steady gaze. The shadow of the vase moves an inch to the left. I reach for a pen in the ceramic jar now. The surface of the paper is textured and rough. I write a short note on the back of the bill. The task is all finished and the pile is gone. I organize the sheets in a very straight line. The house is so peaceful and the morning is long. I look at the door where the light hits the mat. The dust motes are dancing in a circle of gold. I stand from the chair and I stretch out my arms. The mail sits in place by the edge of the glass. The rest of the day is now waiting for me.
I sit down on the very edge of the wooden bench. The sneakers are white and they feel very light. I pull the cotton laces with both of my hands. The fabric is clean and it has a firm grip. I cross the left string over the right side now. The loop is small and I pull it quite tight. My fingers are steady as I make the first knot. The hallway is quiet and the floor is so dark. The second shoe waits for the same careful touch. I slide my heel back into the soft inner foam. The tongue of the shoe is straight and very flat. I weave the long laces through the final two holes. The plastic tips click against the leather side. I make a clean bow and I tug on the ends. The fit is secure and it feels very good. I stand up slowly and I test a new weight. The shadow of the door is long on the white rug. I check the time on the clock near the stairs. The morning is cool and the air is very still. My bag is on the table with my silver keys. I walk to the mirror to adjust my light jacket. The zipper is smooth and it moves with no sound. The rhythm of my steps is a very soft thud. I reach for the handle of the heavy front door. The sunlight is waiting on the other side now. I take a deep breath and I look at my feet. The laces stay in place and the knots are firm. The pavement is dry and the sky is pale blue. I step out the house and I lock up the frame. The walk to the corner is peaceful and long. The street is so empty and the houses are shut. Everything is ready for the day to begin.
The small kitchen window is foggy and white.
I draw a small heart on the edge of the glass.
The toaster is warm and it makes a low hum.
2 slices of wheat bread are starting to brown.
The butter is melting in a clear glass dish.
You reach for the honey on the second high shelf.
The scent of the toast fills the whole quiet room.
We stand in the light while the coffee is brewed.
I pick up the plate with a blue floral rim.
You set down the napkins in a very neat line.
The crust is so golden and it feels very crisp.
We share a small smile in the soft morning glow.
The steam from the kettle is a thin silver line.
The clock on the wall makes a very soft sound.
The table is ready and the chairs are pulled out.
We take our first seat in the cool morning air.
I spread the dark jam with a dull silver knife.
You pour out the milk into 2 ceramic mugs.
The crumbs on the wood are so tiny and bright.
The shadows are moving on the checkered tablecloth.
A radio is playing a very slow tune.
We don't say a word while the breakfast is warm.
The neighborhood wakes with a distant car horn.
But here in the kitchen, the world is quite still.
The meal is all finished and the plates are now bare.
I gather the cups and I walk to the sink.
You wipe down the table with a damp yellow cloth.
The scent of the bread is still sweet in the air.
We look at the garden through the clear open door.
The day is ahead and the morning was good.
The toaster is cooling on the dark granite top.
Everything is calm and exactly in place. I stand on my tiptoes to reach the high wood. The top shelf is hidden far above my head. A thin layer of gray dust sits on the edge. I hold a soft yellow cloth in my right hand. The air is quite still in this corner of the room. I move the old picture frames one by one now. The glass is cold and it catches the bright light. I start at the corner and wipe toward the middle. The cloth gathers the dust in a single long stroke. I shake it out gently near the open glass door. Small particles dance in a beam of the sun. I reach further back where the shadows are deep. A forgotten glass marble rolls to the very front. It is clear and blue like a small drop of rain. I set it down carefully on the lower white ledge. The wood underneath is now polished and very clean. dark leather spines. The cloth moves in circles with a very light touch. I find a small key that was lost for a year. It is heavy and cold and it shines in my palm. The shelf feels much lighter and open and wide. I put back the faces in a very straight line. The pattern of the grain is now easy to see. I step down slowly and I look from below. The high shelf is tidy and the gray dust is gone. The room feels much brighter and perfectly clear. I fold up the cloth and I put it away now. The task was so simple and it took very little time. I wash my bare hands at the cool kitchen sink. The morning is peaceful and the house is all still. I sit on the sofa and I breathe in the day. The plastic tray is divided into 5 long rows. I take a handful of spoons from the wire rack. The metal is warm and it shines in the light. I place them down one by one in the center slot. They make a soft sound as they touch the bottom. The kitchen is bright and the morning is very new. I reach for the forks with my other bare hand. The tines are all straight and perfectly clean now. I slide the heavy forks into the far left space. They fit together in a very tight and neat stack. The handles are smooth and they feel very cold. I find a small teaspoon hiding under the rest. It goes in the front where the small items stay. The sound of the metal is quiet and very calm. I organize the knives with the blades facing down. The silver is polished and it reflects the wall. The drawer is almost full and the rack is empty. I move a few pieces to make the line straight. The rhythm of sorting is steady and very slow. I see my own face in the curve of a large spoon. The window is open and I hear a distant bird. The air in the house is fresh and very light. I touch the gray plastic edge with a light finger. Everything is in order and easy to find now. I push the drawer shut with a very soft thud. The silverware stays in its own quiet place. I look at the counter where the sunlight is wide. The task was so simple and it feels very good. I walk to the stove to make a fresh pot of tea. The morning is moving and the work is all done. I sit at the table and I look at my hands. The house so peaceful and the day is all mine.
white ceramic cup in both of my hands. The tea inside is amber and very hot to the touch. I see a thin line running down the outer side now. It is a small crack that I never saw before today. It starts at the rim and fades near the bottom edge. The morning light makes the silver line shine bright. I touch the rough texture with a light, steady finger. The kitchen is quiet and the air is so perfectly still. I wonder when the heat first broke the smooth glaze. The cup is still strong and it holds the tea well. I watch a small steam cloud rise to the white ceiling. The crack is like a map of a very long journey home. I set it down carefully on the wooden coaster here. The sound of the bass is a very soft and low thud. A single shadow falls across the curved white handle. I look at the pattern and I don't look away from it. The table has a grain that is old and very dark. I trace the little line with the tip of my nail. It doesn't leak even a single warm drop of water. Everything has a mark if you look very close at it. The window is open and I hear a distant car move. The morning moves forward in a steady slow pace now. I take a small sip and I feel the warm golden tea. The crack is just a part of the cup for me today. I finish the drink and I see the white bottom now. The line is still there when the cup is all empty. I walk to the sink to wash it with some soft soap. The water is warm and it flows over my tired skin. I set it on the rack to dry in the bright morning sun. The house is so peaceful and the day is all mine. I look at the shelf where the other cups all stay. Everything is simple and exactly in its right place.
I lift the thick blue book from the bottom shelf now. The cover is heavy and it feels like smooth stone. I carry it slowly to the small wooden table here. The dust on the edge is a very fine silver line. I set it down carefully on the flat surface now. The sound of the paper is a deep and low rustle. The morning is quiet and the light is very soft. I rest my hands on the cold linen binding today. The spine of the book has a golden etched title. I open the middle and I see the white pages now. The ink is very dark and the letters are small. Each word stays in place in a very neat row here. I turn the first page with a slow, steady finger. The weight of the paper feels good in my palm. A single dry leaf falls out from the center now. It is brown and thin, and it smells like the fall. side. I read the first line and I hold my soft breath. The story is old, but the feeling is very new now. The room is so peaceful and the house is all mine. I hear a faint clock tick from the other room here. The air in the hallway is fresh and quite cool. I lean back a little in the hard wooden chair now. The weight of the book is a comfort to me today. I close the blue cover when the light starts to fade. The sound of the latch is a very soft and low snap. I carry the book back to its own quiet place now. It fits in the gap between the green folders here. My arms feel a little bit tired from the hold now. I walk to the kitchen to get a glass of water. The morning is moving and the day is all bright. Everything is simple and exactly in its right place. The morning sun shines through the fabric of the tall curtains now. Small white flowers are scattered across the light blue cotton field. The wind moves the hem very slowly against the dark wood floor here. I watch the shadows of the leaves dancing on the thin material now. The light is filtered and it turns the whole room a soft gold today. I trace the edge of a petal with the tip of my long finger here. The weave of the cloth is very tight and feels so smooth today now. The world outside is a blur of colors behind the heavy drapes here. Tiny loose thread hangs down from the very bottom corner now. I don't pull it because I like the way it swings in the air here. The pattern repeats in a steady line from the top to the base now. I remember the day I first hung them up on the silver rod today. The rings made a sliding sound that echoed in the empty space now. Now the house is full of furniture and quiet morning thoughts here. The fabric smells like the fresh laundry and the early spring rain. I lean my head back and I let the warmth rest on my closed eyes. The garden is hidden, but I can feel the green through the glass. The birds are singing, but their voices are muffled and very soft. I like the way the blue color changes when the clouds pass by now. Sometimes it looks like the ocean, and sometimes like the sky here. The rod is steady and it holds the weight of the day so well now. The room is peaceful and there is no reason to rush at all today. I sit on the rug and I watch the light move an inch to the left. Everything is connected by the thin threads of this moment now. I stand up slowly and I pull the curtains just a little bit wider. The street is empty and the neighbor's cat is walking on the wall. The flowers on the cloth seem to glow in the direct white light now. I take a deep breath and I feel the texture of the morning air here. The pattern stays the same even
sidewalk is cool under my feet as I step out the front door now.
The light on the pavement is a long and very pale yellow
line here. I feel the morning breeze moving through the trees on the street now.
We walk side by side without saying
a single word to the sky today. The sound of our steps is a very soft and steady sliding beat now.
The neighbor's garden is full of green leaves and small white buds here.
A bird is singing from the top of the tall wooden fence today now.
Everything is moving forward in a very slow and quiet
way here. The corner store has a small bell that rings when we push the glass.
The air inside is still,
and it smells like fresh fruit and
paper now.
I pick up a carton of milk and a bag of dark roasted coffee today.
You find the newspaper resting near the window by the flowers here.
The metal of the counter is cold and it shines in the bright light now.
We pay with small coins that make a light and very clear sound today.
The person behind the glass gives us a very small and kind smile now.
We step back outside and the sun is now higher in the blue sky here.
The walk back home feels even shorter than the journey there was now.
I hold the brown paper bag and I feel the weight in my right arm here.
The shadows of the houses are shorter on the gray cement path today.
A cat is watching us from the shade of a park silver car now.
The world is starting to wake up with the sound of a distant engine.
But here on our street the peace is still holding on to the edges now.
I like the way the morning feels when the house is just ahead today.
We reach the stairs and the door is waiting for us to enter in here.
The kitchen table is ready for the things we bought at the store now.
I put the milk in the fridge and I set the coffee on the wood today.
The routine is simple and it makes the day feel very secure now here.
We look at each other and we know the morning was a gift today now.
The clock on the wall is moving toward the hour for our work today.
But for this moment the house is silent and the light is cold now.
I take a deep breath and I start to open the new paper bag today.
The day is beginning and everything is exactly in its right place. I place the clear glass pot on the black wooden stove top now. The water inside is starting to move with tiny white bubbles here. I watch the heat rise and turn into a soft and thin silver cloud. The morning is silent and the house is all mine today now. I drop the loose tea leaves into the bottom of the warm glass. They look like small dark birds resting on a frozen lake here. The liquid turns to a pale and very beautiful golden color now. I hold my hands near the warmth and I feel the light today. The steam makes a pattern on the window behind the counter here. I can see the garden through the small drops of the clear water. The leaves on the trees are perfectly still in the early light now. I wait for the timer to make a very soft and low chiming sound. The scent of the jasmine is starting to fill the whole kitchen here. It is a sweet and very clean smell that makes me feel so light. I lift the handle and I feel the weight of the water in my arm. The tea is ready and the morning is moving in a very slow way. I pour the hot tea into a ceramic cup with no handle today now. The sound is like a small waterfall in a very quiet forest here. The warmth travels through the clay and into my bare palms now. I sit on the high stool and I look at the dust in the sunbeam. Everything is so clear when the house is as peaceful as this here. The world outside is starting to wake with a distant soft noise. But in this room, the only thing that matters is the warm steam. I take a slow breath and I feel the peace sitting deep inside. The glass pot is half empty and the tea is now a darker amber. I set it back down on the wood with a very soft and gentle touch. The task was so simple and it brings a smile to my quiet face now. I'm ready for the things that the day is bringing to me today. The light is now white and it covers the whole of the floor here. I fold my arms and I enjoy the last bit of the morning silence. The clock on the wall is the only rhythm that I can hear now. Everything is calm and exactly in its right place for me today.
The hallway is long and the air is perfectly still now. A single beam of light falls through the small window here. I see the tiny dust motes dancing in the bright gold path. They move in circles like stars in a very quiet night sky. I watch them flow without making a single soft sound. Today, the wooden floor is dark and it stays in the shadow now. I hold my breath and I feel the peace of the hallway here. Everything is moving in a very slow and beautiful way. I walk toward the light and I feel the warmth on my face now. The dust motes scatter for a second as I move through them, they come back together in the center of the beam here. The walls are white and they hold the quiet of the house now. I see a small picture hanging near the very end of the hall. It is a drawing of a tree with many thin and green leaves. I touch the frame and I feel the smooth glass under my hand. The morning is white and it is waiting for me to step in today. The shadow of my shadow is long on the patterned rug now. I hear the hum of the fridge from the kitchen far away here. House is a container for all these tiny and silent things. I like the way the light changes when a cloud passes by now. The dust motes are gone for a moment and then they return. It is a secret dance that happens every single morning here. I stand in the center and I feel the weight of the silence. The world is starting to wake but here it is, still so calm. I reach the door at the end and I turn the silver handle now. The click is very soft and it doesn't break the golden air. I look back one more time at the path of the dancing dust. The hallway is a bridge between the dreams and the day-to-day. I step into the next room and I feel the new light on my skin. The morning is moving and the house is exactly in its place. I'm ready for the tasks that are waiting on my wooden desk. Everything is simple and the peace is staying deep inside me. I open the wooden window and the air is very cold and sharp now.
The first light of the day is a thin silver line on the grass here.
I take a deep breath and I feel the morning inside my chest now.
The world is waking up, but the silence is still so very deep today.
A single bird flies across the garden without making a sound now.
The dew on the leaves is like tiny diamonds in the early sun here.
We stand together in the doorway and we watch the gold light grow.
The house is behind us and the day is open and very wide now.
The kettle starts to hum in the kitchen with a soft and low tone.
I feel the warmth of your hand as we wait for the sun to rise now.
The shadows of the trees are long and they move across the floor here.
Every little thing is simple and it feels exactly right for us today.
The street is empty and the air is fresh and smells like the pine now.
We don't need to speak because the peace is doing the talking here.
A new page is turning and the story is just beginning for us now.
I look at the sky and I see the blue turning into a bright white.
The clock on the wall makes a steady and very quiet ticking sound.
We walk back inside and the warmth of the room is like a hug now.
The day will be busy, but this moment is a treasure we hold here.
I pour the water into the cups and the steam rises to the top now.
The first breath of morning is a gift that we receive every day.
I am thankful for the quiet and I am thankful for this house today.
We sit at the table and we watch the light cover the wooden chairs.
Everything is calm and the morning is moving in a slow, steady way.
I finish my drink and I feel the energy starting to flow in me now.
The tasks of the day are waiting, but I am not in any rush today.
We look at the window and the sun is now a big and yellow circle.
The world is alive and the colors are becoming so very bright now.
I stand up and I feel the floor steady under my bare feet today.
The silence of the morning is staying with me as I start to move.
The house is a home and the day is a promise of a very good life.
Everything is simple and exactly in its right place for us now.
The light is shifting on the white wall near the wooden clock now.
I feel the coolness of the air as I stand by the open door here.
Today is a different kind of morning, and I feel the strength in me.
Every small thing in this house is shining with a very new light.
I tie my shoes and I listen to the silence of the garden outside.
The world is waiting and the path is clear for us to walk today.
We take a step together and the ground is steady under our feet.
It is a simple beginning, but it feels like a very big promise now.
I see the mailman cycling down the quiet and empty street now.
The birds are busy in the tall trees with their morning songs here.
We carry the peace of the kitchen and the tea inside our hearts.
The sun is climbing higher and the blue of the sky is so deep.
No need to hurry because the day belongs to us and no one else. I smile at the flowers and they look back with their bright faces.
This is the rhythm of a life that is built with a very gentle hand. We are moving forward and the air is fresh and smells so clean.
I look at your face and I see the reflection of the morning sun.
We don't need many words to know that this is a beautiful day.
The shadows are short now and the heat is starting to grow soft.
Every task ahead of us is a chance to make something so good.
I feel the energy in my arms and the joy in my very quiet breath.
The house is watching us go and it waits for our return today.
The first step is the hardest, but we have already made it now.
The world is wide and the morning is a gift that never ends here.
We reach the corner and the city is starting to make its noise.
But the calm of the hallway is staying with us like a secret now.
I hold the handle of my bag and I am ready for the work today.
The light is golden and it covers everything with a soft glow.
We are part of the day and the day is a part of who we are now. I take a deep breath and I feel the newness in every single cell.
The journey is simple and the destination is exactly where we are.
Everything is right and the morning is moving in a perfect way. The sun is moving slowly across the white wooden floor now.
I see the golden rectangle stretching near the heavy chair
The
here.
house is warm and the air is filled with a very quiet light.
I leave my book on the table and I watch the dust motes dance.
Everything is calm and the afternoon is a very peaceful friend.
The clock is ticking, but the time feels like it is standing still.
We sit together and we feel the heat of the day on our skin.
It is a simple moment,
And it is exactly what we need today. I hear a car passing by on the distant and busy main road now.
but inside this room the only sound is the breath of the cat.
The garden is green and the shadows of the trees are growing long.
The light is orange and it tastes like the honey in my tea here.
I stretch my legs and I feel the texture of the rug under my feet.
There is no need to hurry because the sun is in no rush today.
We are safe in the center of a very bright and golden circle now.
The world is outside and the peace
is staying deep inside us. I reach for your hand and your palm is warm from the afternoon sun.
We look at the garden and the flowers are starting to close now.
Sky is a pale blue and the clouds are like very soft white wool.
Every corner of the kitchen is glowing with a very soft amber.
I like the way the house changes when the light is as low as this.
The day was good and the evening is waiting at the very edge.
We are here and the moment is a gift that we are holding today.
The light is fading but the warmth is staying in the wooden floor.
The sun is gone from the floor, but the boards are still so warm now.
I turn on the small lamp and the room becomes a very cozy nest.
The tasks of the day are finished and the rest is starting for us.
The air is cooling down and the night is a soft and dark blanket.
I close my eyes and I feel the rhythm of the house in my heart.
Everything is right and the light is exactly where it belongs now.
We are part of the peace and the peace is a part of who we are.
The afternoon is over
and the night is moving in a perfect way. The amber light is hitting the top of the bookshelf in the hall now.
I see the dust settling in the quiet corners of the house here.
The day is folding itself like a very soft and expensive cloth now.
We move through the rooms and the air is heavy with a sweet peace.
I can hear the clock on the mantle, but it is a very gentle sound.
The world is slowing down and the shadows are very long and thin.
We stand by the window and we watch the orange sky turn to gray.
It is a perfect moment and it is exactly where I want to be now.
I close the curtains and the room becomes a very private world here.
The lamp on the table is a warm and steady point of golden light.
The tea in the pot is still warm and the steam is rising very slow.
I feel the softness of the cushion as I lean my head back today.
There is no noise from the street and the house is a silent shell.
We don't need to speak because the silence is very full of love.
The night is coming but the warmth of the day is staying with us.
Everything is right and the evening is moving in a perfect way.
The house is a harbor where the light and the dark are meeting now. We drift on the music of the roads and the swelling guitar here.
No tapping feet and no clicking fingers, just the flow of the air.
We are the center of the quiet and the quiet is a part of us.
Let the evening stay as long as the amber glow is in the hall. Let the night begin with the same steady heart that we hold today.
The stars are hidden the warmth of the floor is still so real.
The day is finished, and the piece is exactly where it belongs now.
I look out at the sky and I see the clouds are moving fast today.
A thin silver line is showing at the very edge of the gray now.
The wind is quiet but it carries a very fresh and cold scent here.
I feel the energy of the morning coming through the glass now.
The house steady and the walls are a very strong protection.
We drink our coffee and we watch the light change on the hill.
It is a moment of waiting, but it is a very hopeful waiting now.
The sun is hidden, but we know the fire is still burning there.
I open a book and the paper is very smooth and white today.
The ink is dark and the words are a very clear and steady path.
We don't need the bright blue sky to feel the joy in our hearts.
The silver lining is a promise that the storm is moving away.
I hear the kettle beginning to whistle with a very sharp tone.
The steam is rising and it fills the kitchen with a soft cloud.
We are safe and we are together in this very quiet world here.
The clouds are heavy, but the light is finding a way to shine.
We are the center of the silver,
and we are the center of the gold. No tapping feet and no clicking fingers, just the flow of the air. We drift on the music of the rose and the swelling guitar here.
let the light grow until the gray is a very distant memory now.
The silver lining is the story that we are writing for us today.
Everything is simple and the morning is moving in a perfect way.
The silver is turning to white, and the gray is almost gone now.
The day is open and the peace is exactly where it belongs here. The sun is making a long and golden stripe on the hallway carpet now.
I hear the quiet engine of the refrigerator in the kitchen here.
The air is very still and the dust is not even moving in the light.
I feel the strength of the house and the peace of the heavy walls.
We stand together and we look at the shadows of the garden trees.
The leaves are dark green and the world is waiting for the new.
It is a simple moment, but it feels like a very big and solid truth.
The clock is beating like a heart and the rhythm is very steady now.
I touch the wooden handle of the door and it feels very smooth today.
The paint is white and the ceiling is very high and very clean now.
We don't need any music because the silence is a very rich sound.
The warmth of the coffee is still staying in my very quiet hands.
I see the cat sleeping on the rug and his fur is glowing in the sun.
The street is empty and the neighbors are all busy with their work.
We have the morning and the morning is a very wide and open field.
I take a deep breath and I feel the power of the oxygen inside me.
We are the
Pulse of the hallway and we are the light on the wall.
no tapping feet and no clicking fingers, just the flow of the air.
We drift on the music of the roads and the swelling guitar here.
The silence is a bridge and we are walking across it together now. everything is firm, and everything is exactly where it belongs today. The steady pulse is the story that we are telling to the quiet hall. The light is moving slowly,
but the peace is staying in the center here.
the day is solid and the heart is moving